Home entertainment, what do we do? Well, the BFI in general, our job is to enrich film culture in the UK. Specifically, the BFI label, Home Entertainment label, is dedicated to releasing classics of world cinema, rarely seen British film and TV, expertly curated British documentary and archive collections, so it says on our website. Um, it really involves a balance between the cultural remit and commercial aspect of home entertainment. We want to and we have to release films from that fit within the wider BFI program, but at the same time we have to run ourselves as a business, an ongoing business. So all of our decisions are sort of really led by those two fundamental points. Our release slate, as you can see there, this represents our release slate for the current 12-month period that we're in. We release around 30 films a year, between 30 to 40 films a year. And just in this 12-month period alone, there's around 8 restorations, restorations either in-house at the BFI or using an external facility. Around 4 new release films from the BFI distribution department, TV series. There's box sets and collections, about 4 of those as well, and some archive films as well. You can see at the top there, the Children's Film Foundation, including films from our archive. The slate, as you can see in the 4th or 5th column, it's not just films from the UK. So we're talking about enriching film culture in the UK, not about promoting just British films. So it's a slate that includes, this year, it includes films from Japan, India, Belgium, Mexico. And we also try to promote diversity. So whether that be female directors or Black and global majority directors, again, it comes back to enriching film culture. Where possible, we also try to or hope to listen to you, our customers, whether it be via social media platforms or written requests. We do listen to what you want, and where possible, we will sort of amend our release slate to include that. So moving on to acquisitions, you can see in the final column there, those are all of the licensors that we've worked with this year alone. So they include independent licensors. So there's Euro London, who acquired the Watership Down from Watership Down Productions and Euro London. There are also other independents like Victoria Price or Richard Wynne Simmons. They're directors or family members who own the rights themselves and will acquire the films from them. There's also sales agents, for example, Park Circus, who I know are in this evening. They represent the MGM library, amongst others. There's Hollywood Classics International. And then for the contemporary films, there's Cornerstone or Match Factory and others like that. I also acquire films directly from the studios. So there might be Universal. You can see there's quite a few films from Toho there, and also Shochiku. And then finally, the TV broadcasters, so Channel 4 and BBC, who we've developed really strong relationships with in recent years, and have actually just signed a 5-picture deal with Channel 4 as well. So that's for next year's slate. So the acquisitions process, we start off by identifying the films, like I said, requests from yourselves or films that we, the team, have identified as well as being available. Ben and myself will then run a profit and loss forecast based on sales, includes all of the production costs that are incurred. And then we have to follow quite a strict internal acquisitions approval process. So getting sign off from the appropriate people. Once that's done, I'll then start negotiating with the licensors. It's also at that time where we decide on what format the film will be released. To give you an idea, last 12-month period, last year, 11% of our business came from DVD sales, 40% from Blu-ray, 21% from dual format DVD and Blu-ray, only 7% from UHDs, and 21% from box sets. So the UHDs, it's surprising that it's only 7% considering the cost of UHDs, but that's because it's still such a new format. We've only really been releasing UHDs for 2 or 3 years, I think. So there's only about 6 actually in our library at the moment. That will increase as the years go by. And of course, this year, we've got Watership Down, Seven Samurai. So with those 2 UHDs, we'll see a big spike in our sales for this year and years following as well. So I'll then approach the licensors and discuss certain deal heads. So the rights that we're acquiring, whether they be video, theatrical, digital rights, the territory, which is usually UK and air, any fee, which is really directly related to the profit and loss forecast, payment terms, and the term of the agreement, which is usually between 5 to 10 years. Royalties, recoupment, other things like that. Those are the deal heads, which once agreed, that will be passed on to our rights and contracts department, who draw up the long form agreement, including all of those points, and do all the dirty work there. So, an example of one of our releases, our current release, is Watership Down. That was agreed directly with Euro London Watership Productions back in January 2022, I think it was. So agreed the terms for that, and we restored it back then as well, ready for a release in August 2022. Everything going to plan. Unfortunately, we had to pull the release just a matter of months before the actual date because there was a dispute between the licensor and Richard Adams' estate. So everything had to be put on ice. It took a couple of years for that to be resolved. It was only earlier this year, I think it was January, February this year, where we were given the green light. So, of course, went straight back to it and moved into production with a view to launching it at the London Film Festival this year. And then there was a theatrical release shortly after, and then the home entertainment release this Monday just gone. And I believe if anyone hasn't got it yet, it'll be available in the shop after. Another example, Kronos, which I agreed just relatively recently, actually. This was restored in collaboration with a French distributor, Films de Camélia. They'd acquired the rights for France and Germany and knew the rights were still available for the UK. So contacted Tequila Gang, Del Toro's company, acquired the rights for that. And between Films de Camélia and ourselves, we funded the restoration and launched it at Il Cinema Ritrovato in Bologna early this year. And between us, the two distribution companies, we agreed the UK-France release strategy for February 2025. And we've also, for this one, shared the extras that were released by Criterion on their Blu-ray a few years ago. So they'll also be releasing it day and date for the US audience as well. Looking at BFI distribution, our colleagues in the distribution department, they release between, I think it's about 5 to 10 new release films each year. They acquire those at Cannes, Berlin, Toronto, all of the main film markets and festivals. And generally, because they're new release films, they acquire all rights. So BFI will release a film theatrically, give it a 45-day window, theatrical window. It used to be 16 weeks. That's sort of been condensed in recent months. After that, we'll release it to physical where it's deemed viable. We'll release it on physical home entertainment and also download to own on Amazon Prime and Apple iTunes day and date. And then also it'll be available on BFI Player for SVOD customers as well. Following a 6-week window for that, then I'll move it to TVOD, transactional video on demand, so online rental. And that's available on Amazon Prime and, again, iTunes. And then any other rights that we've acquired, so TV, ancillary rights, airlines, those will be negotiated by our in-house sales manager. We also, where possible, acquire libraries from the licensors. So this year we have the Chantal Akerman library. So we'll be releasing that across 2 Blu-ray box sets, Volume 1 early next year, and then Volume 2 around June, July, I think it is, next year as well. Just briefly touching on our market share as well. Around 40% of our business comes from Q4, November, December, January sales, 45%. That's an incredible amount of sales in just those 3 months alone. But that's how important Q4 is for us. And that's why you'll see the likes of Watership Down, Seven Samurai, Cooking Price Wise, these key titles that are really important to us and our customers who want to buy them for gifting. So we'll usually release those sort of October, November time. December, we leave those to the studios to get whatever they want away as well. So we'll bow out at that point. Just a final note from me. I like to live by the proverb, "It takes a village to raise a child," and that's how I really see BFI Home Entertainment. Um, our DVD, Blu-rays, UHDs, they really are our children, and it's not just us that works on these releases. It's our colleagues in the technical department, rights and contracts, marketing, press, and finance. It takes a BFI village. I know it sounds trite, but it takes a BFI village to release these, and so it really is a collaboration.